Welcome to Info Sounds by InfoDrip, your go-to source for insightful discussions and explorations. Each week, we break down complex ideas into clear, engaging conversations designed to inform and inspire.
You know, when the US banned TikTok back in January,
Yeah.
it was a huge wake-up call
Oh,
for
yeah.
creators who were like totally dependent on TikTok for their income.
Yeah. It's a
Wait.
perfect example of why you got to have multiple streams of income, not just one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're diving into today, right? With this monetizing social media content report.
Yeah.
It's got a ton of good information in there. But what really stood out to me is how different
Yeah.
it is for creators depending on where they are in the world,
Yeah.
especially for creators in Africa.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
You know, the typical ways that creators are making money. We're
Yeah.
talking like sponsored posts, affiliate marketing, ads, selling merch, the usual suspects.
Yeah, right.
But this research, it goes way deeper than that.
It does, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the most surprising things that I saw in there is just how much the money from ads
Yeah.
can change depending on like where your audience is.
Okay.
For example, you can make way more from ads in the US, Canada, the UK, Western Europe,
Right.
places like that compared to like
Mhm.
Eastern Europe, South Asia,
Mm.
or parts of Africa.
I knew there were differences, but I didn't realize it was like that drastic.
Yeah.
So what's the deal there?
Well, it comes down to a couple of things, really. I mean, first off, you got the size of the market and like how much money people have to spend.
Mhm.
Those areas with more people who have more money to spend,
Yeah.
they're more attracted to advertisers.
It's all about like reaching those people who are ready to buy.
Exactly. And then you have like how many people have the internet.
Oh, internet penetration rates.
More internet users means more people will see the ads,
Yeah.
which is what advertisers are paying for.
Right. Makes sense.
And then, of course, like
Yeah.
having a stable economy and a strong currency
Right.
is important too.
Right.
Advertisers are more likely to spend money in those places where things are predictable.
Yeah, it makes sense. But it seems like this report goes beyond just these like global trends.
Yeah.
And really digs into like the unique challenges that African content creators are facing.
Totally, yeah.
So it's not just about lower ad rates.
It's way more than that.
Yeah.
The research found some pretty serious systemic obstacles. Like, did you know that TikTok's creator fund
Oh, right.
straight up excludes African creators?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. That's shocking.
And then even just getting paid
Yeah.
can be a huge pain for them
Right.
because services like PayPal don't really support them well.
Yeah.
And then you add on top of that,
Yeah.
like how expensive data is and how unreliable the internet is in lots of parts of Africa.
Right.
It just shows how much harder it is for creators there to even get their content online in the first place.
Yeah. So they're kind of getting hit with this double whammy, right?
Totally.
Where they have less earning potential, but then also higher costs just to even participate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's rough.
It is. And then on top of all that, there's like almost no brand sponsorships
Yeah.
or advertiser interest.
Right.
Lots of brands just prioritize regions with higher purchasing power.
Yeah.
And they overlook African creators, even if they have large engaged audiences.
It's like a vicious cycle that's almost impossible to break out of.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
I,
It is. It's tough. But there is some good news.
Yeah.
The report talks about a future where it's not just about the number of likes or views you get.
right.
We're starting to see a shift
Yeah.
to a system that really cares about real engagement.
So you're saying it's not just about going viral anymore.
It's not just about that, no.
Yeah.
It's more about like how long people actually spend watching or reading your content
Right.
and how deeply they're interacting with it.
Yeah.
It's all about quality over quantity.
Okay, so this is where I get interested. Like, how does this translate
Right, yeah.
into actual ways that creators can make money?
Right. So there are some really cool new approaches popping up.
Okay.
Like, think about micro-influencers.
Yeah.
They might not have millions of followers,
Right.
but their audience is really engaged and they're focused on a specific niche.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes them really valuable to brands who want to reach certain types of people.
So it's more about connecting with the right people,
Yeah,
not necessarily the most people.
exactly. And then there's this thing called value-based pricing,
Okay.
where advertisers are actually willing to pay more to reach audiences that are more likely to buy their stuff.
I see.
So instead of trying to reach everyone,
Yeah.
It's more about making a targeted impact.
So, like, if a creator's audience is really into sustainable living, let's say,
Right.
a company selling eco-friendly products might pay more to get in front of those people?
That's exactly it. It's all about understanding the unique value of each creator's audience. That's cool. What else is coming down the pipeline?
We're seeing a rise in subscription models.
Right.
Things like Patreon and YouTube memberships.
Right.
These give creators a way to connect directly with their biggest fans.
Yeah.
It builds a sense of community
Right.
and lets creators offer special content or experiences to those who subscribe.
It's almost like creating your own little VIP club.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, there's merch and product collaborations.
Oh, yeah.
Creators are using their audience's trust to create and sell things that fit with their brand.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you trust someone and they recommend something,
Yeah.
you're more likely to buy it, right?
Totally. The key is to be authentic, though. It's about creating things that your audience actually wants,
Right.
not just slapping your logo on random stuff.
Right. Okay, so we've talked about how the focus is changing.
Yeah.
We've talked about micro-influencers, value-based pricing, subscriptions, merch. What about technology?
Yeah.
What role does it play in all of this? This is where things get really interesting.
Mm.
AI and analytics are giving creators a much deeper understanding of their audience,
Mm-hmm.
like more than ever before.
Okay.
By looking at these complex patterns,
Yeah.
they can create content that really connects with their specific audience,
Right.
which leads to more engagement and ultimately more money.
So it's not just about going with your gut anymore. It's about
Yeah.
using data to see what's actually working.
Exactly. And this also helps advertisers
Okay.
because they can use that data to make smarter choices
Yeah.
about where to spend their money,
Makes sense.
making sure they reach the right people in the most effective way.
It sounds like everyone wins. Before we wrap up, I want to go back to the challenges that African creators are facing.
Yeah.
You know, the report showed some pretty big inequalities.
Yeah, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to recognize that.
Right.
But there are some promising developments, too.
Okay.
Platforms like Solar and Flutterwave are specifically designed to help African creators.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They give them the tools and resources they need to overcome those challenges.
That's amazing. Can you tell me more about what those platforms do?
Sure. So Solar is an e-commerce platform
Yeah.
that makes it easy for African creators to sell digital stuff directly to their audience.
Okay.
It handles everything like payments and delivering the content.
Right.
So it removes a lot of those barriers that used to hold them back.
That's fantastic. What about Flutterwave?
Flutterwave is a payment gateway
Okay.
that makes it easier for people and businesses in Africa to send and receive money across different countries,
I see.
which is huge for creators who want to make money globally
Yeah.
but have trouble with traditional payment systems.
Right. It sounds like these platforms are really making a difference.
They are. And there are a lot of other initiatives popping up too, like incubator programs and mentorship networks.
Wow.
It's a really exciting time to be a part of this changing landscape.
It's really inspiring to see these platforms stepping up and creating opportunities where they're needed most.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of hope for the future of the creator economy. But with all these rapid changes, it's important to think about the bigger picture.
It's definitely a lot to take in, right? We've covered so much, from those global CPM differences to the rise of micro-influencers and using data to create better content. It's clear that things are changing fast for creators.
Yeah, no doubt. And even though this report, monetizing social media content, shows how uneven things are,
Right.
it also gives us reason to be optimistic.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited about all these new ways of making money.
Yeah.
You know, ones that focus on real engagement and creating value.
Me too. It's a good thing. Moving away from just chasing likes and followers.
Right. All right.
And moving towards a more sustainable way for creators to connect with their audience and get paid for what they love.
So, if you had to sum it all up, what's the one big takeaway for our listeners? I think it's this. The future of making money on social media is all about building real relationships with your audience.
Mm.
You know, create content that resonates, offer something valuable, and build a community. If you can do that, the money will follow.
It's not just about likes and followers anymore. It's about those genuine connections.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
being able to adapt,
Yeah.
embrace new technologies and platforms. Things are always changing.
Right.
And the creators who are willing to learn and change with them, they're the ones who are going to succeed.
You know, all of this makes me wonder about something.
Yeah.
If the focus is shifting to deeper engagement and these niche communities,
Yeah.
What happens to going viral? Is that still like the holy grail for creators?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, going viral can still be a good way to reach more people,
Right.
but I think we're going to see a move towards more sustainable growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's less about those one-hit wonders and more about building a loyal following
Mm-hmm.
that keeps coming back for more.
So it's about building something that lasts,
Yeah,
not chasing that quick burst of fame.
exactly. It's about creating something that goes beyond just one viral moment.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today.
I hope so.
Eh.
This whole world of social media monetization,
Yeah.
it's complicated and it's always changing,
Right.
but it's also really exciting. There are so many opportunities out there for creators who are willing to adapt and put in the work.
And don't forget, you don't have to figure it all out on your own.
Yeah.
There are resources out there, communities, platforms
Right.
to help you along the way.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions and learn from others who are on this journey with you.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
It was great being here.
And to our listeners, we hope you got some valuable insights and inspiration from this episode. Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep exploring this amazing world of social media monetization.